Thanks for joining us for another NetSupport Insights. I'm Maggie, and today I'm joined by Jamie Saponaro from ClassLink to tell us about the latest and greatest and all the wonderful things that they're doing to help make schools have a better ecosystem with their digital environment. So Jamie, thanks for popping on today.
Thanks for having us.
Now, I imagine there are some people who are unfamiliar with ClassLink,
Right.
so let everyone know, what does ClassLink do?
Okay. All right. So ClassLink is that place, that one stop for all of your educational tools. It allows students and teachers to get that quick access into the learning tools that they need so that they don't have to remember passwords. It remembers your password for you. So that's the first thing. And if you imagine a family comes in and registers for school, they sit down at the front desk in the front office and their information is put into the student information system. So then overnight, a lot of things happen. The students get rostered through our roster server. So all the data goes into the roster server, into that one roster format. The tech admin can decide which tools that they need securely, safely, and sent to those vendors so that when the student comes in the next day, they can sit down at the computer, they can authenticate into their device, they can get into ClassLink, get into every tool that they need safely and securely. So that's the beauty of it. It just allows for that seamless access for students so that there is no struggle.
And not only for students, that really is a big time saver for the techs, right? Because they're not having to manually create all the accounts. It's actually being able to help streamline that entire process.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of our districts are very concerned about security these days and data breaches and the potential. So what's ClassLink doing to make sure that they're keeping the ecosystem safe?
Yeah. So in order to get those accounts, there is our OneSync tool, which allows for that identity management and creation of the account so that students can get into those tools. And then there's a foundation of security that you're talking about. So we have, with rostering that I mentioned, we have a new feature actually called Data Guard, and everything is secure to begin with, but we took it a step further, and now certain components can be encrypted so that names, things that vendors don't really need to see, they need to have that student the access, but why does it have to be their personal information? So you can have that encrypted and go right through. So Data Guard is new, and it's really taken off quite nicely because isn't that the big conversation? Cybersecurity? It's huge.
Yes.
It's huge.
Yeah, and of course, always been personally identifiable information, PII. You want to obviously protect and only share exactly what you need. And while the application may need that to create the account, what the school versus what the vendor needs to see can be entirely different, right?
Exactly.
So I only need to know certain things to get stuff set up. I don't need all the things all the time.
You don't want all the things.
Yes, and we've been a ClassLink partner for a while now, and we've utilized it with Classroom Cloud and NetSupport School, which we love. We know there are there are a decent amount of options for the single sign-on for rostering. What sets ClassLink apart? What makes it the go-to best option for schools to use when you're trying to set everything up for your students?
Well, one thing is our partnership with our partners. We don't call you vendors, you're our partners.
Yeah.
And we really take that to heart. We develop those relationships and we work very, very nicely together. And we don't charge vendors, we charge the districts. Why? Because now the districts are in control of all of that they have and all that they want to share. And it makes a big difference. Another thing that sets us apart is our customer service. I know that you have great customer service on the partner side with our partner team, but schools have amazing, whether it's students or teachers or tech admin or administrators. We answer phones right away. You have an implementation specialist, then you go to an engagement specialist, and you always have many, many touch points all at once. We also have a lot of trainings. So we offer our partner spotlights. We do this with you. You came on our partner spotlight as well, which is really nice so that you can see this partnership that we have and this relationship that we built. We also have webinars to give insights into all of our products. So I kind of monitor some of the help desk tickets. Oh, there are a lot of questions on this. Let's do a webinar on it. So we get that in there. We have courses. We have amazing courses that anyone can take as well. Students, teachers, tech admin, just to give a little, and it's not just on ClassLink related products either. We have podcasts that share lots of trends that are happening in ed tech as well, 2 podcasts. And then we also do some in-person events as well. We're all about building connections, building community all around. So it really, we care about education. ClassLink hires educators. We're all former educators, and we love learning, which is our motto.
And you really do see that. I will say it very much is a partnership from what we've experienced. And I know obviously that you said it replicates itself in what the schools experience too, that it's not a one and done, that's it, but you guys are very much there. And I've appreciated on our side, if we ever have any issues, which honestly we have very little, which is very nice, it makes a great partnership. But if we do, the resolution is so quick and there's so many resources that you're not waiting a long time for an answer. It's getting solved. Now, one of the things you mentioned was one roster, and we know one ed tech and that kind of global standard of data of actually having that interoperability and making sure that things work seamlessly together. So that's a big priority for you guys, is making sure that that data can go easily between systems. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. We're actually doing a podcast tomorrow, our Perspectives Finding Ground podcast with Patrick Devaney. We're doing it on standards and the importance of that and interoperability. And it really is a big deal. And it really makes a difference as to whether things have a solid foundation or that they could fall apart. And so that interoperability, these relationship buildings, our partners, all of that together, following those standards, utilizing, leveraging those standards in the best way possible, is really what makes us solid too. You know, you mentioned the multitude of resources out there as well. And we understand that it's like, a blank look here. What are they using? How do we know if the things that we are investing in, the tools that we are investing in, are being used by students and teachers? So that's the burning question by curriculum people, superintendents, tech admin. So our learning analytics is top notch. We have analytics and analytics plus that not only gives you insight into what's being used, how long it's being used within ClassLink, launched from within ClassLink, but also Analytics Plus allows for that insight into all of the tools that are even accessed outside of ClassLink.
Oh wow,
as well,
that's fantastic.
Which is and even on iPads as well. So the apps that are being used. So it really does help with return on investment, return on, as one of our clients says, return on instruction. That's really what we want to see.
I really like that. And it's true because it's about the time that teachers are saving, and it's also about how much is being spent on a certain app as well, and if it's going to actually give them the results they want from what they're actually using.
Yeah, so they're monitoring assessments, they're making sure that students are, up to speed on standards, and this way they can see, well, the tools that we purchased to get students up to par on the standards that they need, are they being used? And are they being used? It's all about consistency, right? So we want to monitor that, and that's what we provide.
Well, that's the big thing now is I think you've had so much access to tools, especially after COVID, everyone dive bombing into using everything.
Gosh.
And then now this evaluation of the ESSER and the EANS funding is running out. We're going to have to decide what we do and don't renew next year. So if they're able to then accurately look at that picture and go, what is and isn't being used, they can make smarter decisions. And that way you're not spending a lot of money on something you don't need, and that it is working, and that's the ideal thing.
Yes, you mentioned, after COVID, a lot of schools call it the Wild West. There were so many different tools out there that people are using. So now they're really looking at it and saying, okay, are these being used? Are they actually secure? Do we approve them? And so now they can get a much, much better handle on that lens and take a look at that and really make actionable steps based on that analytics data. Yeah,
that's awesome. So you guys have learning analytics, you have the one rostering, you have the new data guard. Is there anything else we should know about ClassLink and what you guys provide? Have we covered everything?
I think we've covered everything. We really do. I mean, most important, like I said, I think I'm most proud of our relationship building as well as our foundation on security. Between DataGuard. The other thing, actually, there is one more thing I want to mention. Because we know that security is so important to administrators, it is the thing that keeps them up at night.
Yes.
It is. And so what we have done is we've formed a coalition with other organizations to look at those security standards, because they're out there, but they are based on corporations. They're not specific to education.
It's true.
So what our team did, they collaborated together and came up with a rubric that is based on those standards, but specific to education.
That's fantastic.
The rubric is free, so any district can access it. It's cybersecurityrubric.org. You can get to that. There's a free training to know how to use it. And then if you want to become a cybersecurity rubric evaluator and just have like a certification to evaluate your own school's rubric or other schools' rubrics, then you can take a course to do that also.
That's awesome.
So it's just another way that we try to give back to education so that everyone is confident, secure across the board, because in the end, it's all about the students. We want to protect their data, we want to protect them, and we're modeling for them what this should look like. So hopefully, I'm hoping that students end up taking these courses as well, because I mean, and girls, I think this pipeline for tech for girls is so important, and we're trying to solidify.
We love women in tech, obviously.
That's
we're not biased at all, but it is true. And actually, that's a great point that if there's free resources out there, don't think about them just in terms of what your team and your staff can do, but think about the students who are showing an interest or an inclination of, hey, this is something you can do for free that could then put you on a path to a career you never thought of, to a life that you never imagined, which could be, amazing for them. So what was that resource again? For the
cybersecurityrubric.org.
Okay, cybersecurityrubric.org. And of course, you can find ClassLink at classlink.com, if I'm not mistaken.
That's true.
Nice and easy to get a hold of that. We are so glad you were here with us today, ISTE.
So
where can we catch you next? So if anyone's going to any upcoming events, or what's the best next place to see you?
The best next place? I don't even know, because now it's summer. There aren't a lot of things happening right now. So.
Any webinars coming up that you know?
Oh, well, yeah. We have our podcast, our Linked Up Breaking Boundaries in Education podcast several times a month. Our Perspectives Finding Common Ground podcast is once a month. And of course, we have our webinars every week. If you're a ClassLink customer already. And so we're out there, we're trying to just give back and stay on top of things. We're all about learning. We want to learn as well. So
creating a learning community, that's what you guys are all about. That's why we got the partnerships. But Jamie, thanks for coming on with us today and sharing about ClassLink. I'm always excited to hear about the new stuff going on, especially with DataGuard and the way that you guys are trying to better protect your students and the identity, which is really big. So always keep us posted on what's happening. But thanks, guys, for joining us for Insights. We'll see you next time.